Blue Eyes.
Hi guys, this is Mike and this will be a shootout between 3 different ESP LTD guitars, 2 solar guitars, and just for comparison reasons I'm also going to include my old but trustworthy Epiphone Les Paul Studio and the most expensive guitar in my collection, the Gibson Les Paul Standard 2017. So the way I'm going to do this shootout is very simple. First I'm going to talk about the technical aspects of these guitars and the differences. Then we'll listen to some samples, and after that I'm going to give you my personal opinion on these instruments. And so without further ado, let's actually start with the oldest exemplar and the cheapest one, I guess, which is the Epiphone Les Paul Studio in black. This was actually my very first guitar. I checked the serial number and it was made in the year 2000. And it was made in Korea. I guess back then, Korea was the place to go for companies if they wanted to build budget instruments. Nowadays, of course, we have places like Indonesia or China for that. But yeah, so this was my very first guitar. I remember that I was a huge Kurt Cobain fan back in the day. I still am. But I was a huge Nirvana fan and I was annoying my mom for like months to buy me a guitar because I basically wanted to be Kurt Cobain or be like him. And so one day my mom showed mercy and we went to this little guitar store here in my city. And of course back then I didn't know anything about guitars and I didn't know that Kurt Cobain was a Strat player, or at least a Fender player. He played Strats and Jaguars. But the seller sold me this guitar and he even added a little Fender combo amp, which I remember to this day had a very cool distortion sound. It had a built-in reverb function. It was just a little amp, but I had so much fun with it and with this guitar as well. So I'm still grateful to the shop owner or the seller that he sold me this guitar because it is really a great instrument for beginners. It's very easy to play. It has the, the classic technical aspects, a mahogany body with a mahogany neck and a rosewood fretboard. It has 2 humbucker pickups that you can set the volume and the tone individually, so 4 pots. And it's just a very basic but very great guitar, especially if you are a beginner. And for me, this is a guitar that I just can take out and mess around, and I'm not afraid to like throw it on the ground. If I'm sitting in front of the TV and I just want to mess around, I can take this guitar, and yeah, that's what it is for me. My very first Epiphone. 2 humbuckers, which by the way I replaced ages ago for the classic Seymour Duncan combo of a jazz pickup in the neck and a JB in the bridge, right? So it has a really great sound, a very lightweight instrument. It's very thin actually. Yeah. So that's my very first guitar. Now let's talk about the first new guitar. Let me just get it. Okay, so the first new guitar is the ESP LTD EC-256 or 256, whatever you want to call it really. It comes in satin black. And yeah, it's a very classic layout. Again, mahogany body, mahogany neck, and on the fretwork, let me check my sheet here, we have roasted Jatoba. It has 22 frets as well. The neck shape is a thin U, as on all the LTDs. It's a very fast neck, I think I can say that without spoiling anything. Feels really nice. It comes quite flawless. We'll talk about the bindings and the details later. But what's also very cool is that it has a push-pull pot, which you can use to coil split the humbuckers. So yeah, this is the first new instrument. Let me go to the next one. Okay guys, next guitar is awesome. Listen, I love metal, but I'm not a metal player. Or if I am, I'm a lousy one. But this guitar is just awesome. It reminds me so much of the Batmobile from Tim Burton's Batman. I mean, this guitar looks so cool. This is the Solar Guitars GC 2.6C, of course. Has a mahogany body, mahogany neck, and an ebony fretboard. Ebony is a hard material and it's darker, so I guess that's why they chose it. It has 2 Seymour Duncan solar pickups inside them. It has a coil split function. This is the first guitar that has 24 frets, not 22, and it just looks so cool. Black satin finish. Yeah, So this is the Solar Guitars GC-256. Okay, the next guitar is the ESP LTD EC-401, which I bought in the glossy black version. It's really a beautiful looking instrument. I really love this visual here, that you have this cream binding. It looks really awesome. It's quite heavy in comparison to the other three guitars that I just had in my hand. This guitar has a mahogany body, mahogany neck, and a Piezo. I don't know how to spell it, how to pronounce it. Yeah, one of those fretboards. And it was made in Indonesia. As you might know, it has 2 EMG humbuckers built in, 24 frets as well. Beautiful instrument, no coil split function on these EMGs. Yeah, curious how it sounds. Let's go to the next one. The next being the ESP LTD EC-1000 Piezo. So I bought this in the Piezo version because I wanted to see which sounds this thing could produce, but you can consider this the same as the EC-1000 Duncan. It's 95% the same. It has a 59 neck pickup, a JB in the bridge, it has a mahogany body, it has a mahogany neck, and the fingerboard is Piezo, just as on the EC-401. It has a coil split function. Of course, with the Piezo here you can do other things, and this is the first guitar that has locking tuners on them. All the other guitars until now didn't have locking tuners, but starting from now they all do. So great looking instrument. This is the see-through black color. Really dig this. Maple top, sorry. Really dig this. Looks like that from the back. Don't know if you can see it. Beautiful looking. Yeah. Okay, so this is the EC-1000 Duncan / Piezo. Hey guys, do you remember when I said that the Solar GC-256 looked cool? Screw that, forget that. Look at this baby. Oh my god, this thing looks awesome. Look at that. This is the Solar GC-1.6 Killertone, they call it. I guess it's a Killertone model from the guy called Killertone. I don't know, but it looks so cool. Look at that. String through body, maple top, black winter Seymour Duncan pickups in both positions. A mahogany body, mahogany neck, ebony fretboard again. This time we have dots, but also this very cool logo on the 12th fret. It's a beautiful looking guitar. Do we have coil split? Yes, on both pickups, coil split. It's all there. And check this out. Lacquer? No lacquer. Satin finish on the neck. What the hell? This is awesome. Look at that. This could be the perfect guitar for metal players. Not necessarily for me, but for metal players. Look at that. Oh my god. Oh my god. So awesome. Very curious how it sounds with these black winter pickups. We'll check that out shortly. Let's go to the last guitar. Bing. The last guitar being my beloved Gibson Les Paul Standard 2017 HP. I have a video somewhere on my channel where I talk about my journey to this guitar, but to make a long story short, I was in a music store a couple of years ago, well, 4 years ago actually, and since this is a 2017 model, and I played a lot of guitars, a lot of Gibsons there, and I played this also, and I immediately fell in love with it. The weight of it, the quality of it, the neck shape especially. This guitar allows me to play stuff that I couldn't on other guitars, so I fell in love with it, saved up a couple of months to buy it, drove to another country actually, to Germany, to test out 4 different exact the same guitars but different maple tops, and I picked this one that I liked. This was like a 3-day trip, and yeah, this is, by the way, you don't like this part? Look, it comes off. How cool is that? The pickups are burst bucker pros, of course. Everything is splittable in multiple ways. There are dip switches inside where you can modify. I never touched them, I'll admit it. I never touched them. I like the sound as it is. But yeah, this is my most precious, the Gibson Les Paul Standard. And you know what? Let's actually begin the sampling of these guitars. Let's actually listen to some samples. And after that, I'm going to talk about playability on these guitars, about the quality of build, and about my opinion on them. So stay tuned. See you later. Welcome back, guys, and I hope you like the samples. I tried to incorporate a little bit of everything into the mix, even metal, although, as mentioned earlier, I'm not much of a metal player. Speaking of which, if you liked this video up until now, or maybe if it will help you make an educated decision which guitar to buy, please consider subscribing. You know, these type of videos take a long time to shoot and edit, and your subscription would be greatly appreciated. Thanks. Okay, so now with that out of the way, let's talk business. And let me actually start with the factory setup. On all of these new guitars, and obviously I'm not talking about my 20-year-old Epiphone or my 4-year-old Gibson, but on all of these new guitars, the factory setup was not great. meaning they all had the same problem. The string action was too high up and the pickups were too low, right? Which is no biggie, I guess. You just take a screwdriver and it takes maybe 10 minutes of your time to adjust everything. But that was the general thing about these guitars, right? Factory setup on all of these new guitars was not that great. Now let's talk about the first guitar, and I know you're not that interested in my 20-year-old Epiphone, but still let's talk about it. You know, basically I stand by everything that I said before. This is a great guitar, great quality of build, great playability, quite a fast neck, even though it's lacquered. It's still quite fast, you almost don't notice the lacquer. And it's even fast when you have a broken neck screw, as in my case. I mean, you heard in the samples that I have slight intonation issues, slight fret noise issues, but it's not too bad. And I think this is a great instrument, especially maybe if you're a beginner and you want to learn guitar, you want to practice every day. This is a great instrument. It has 2 humbuckers with controls for each and every one of them, gives a lot of tonal options, you know, and it's just nice and fun to play, you know, and yeah, great instrument. I can really recommend it. Okay, now let's talk about the ESP LTD EC-256, and I guess this is the part where I'm going to be controversial, especially to people that are like owners of this guitar or maybe fans of this guitar. Maybe you should skip ahead and don't listen to that. You didn't skip? Okay, here we go. So in my opinion, this is one of those instruments that when you unbox it and look at it, you think, wow, it's really good looking, it's really cool. But when you take it into your hands and you play around with it a little bit, you start to notice that, okay, this is a budget instrument. And why is that? I mean, it's not the finish. The finish is really nice, and it's one of those satin finishes where you actually don't see your fingerprints, so that is very cool. No matter how hard I press, there's no fingerprints to be seen. I guess when you have greasy hands or something, you might see something, but it's not that. The binding, when you look at it closer, is not that great. You can see small errors everywhere. The neck is funny. The neck is the same neck shape as the other 2 LTDs. It's a thin U neck shape, and it's even satin finish, so it should be great, but somehow it screams low budget. I'm sorry to say all that, but that's just how I feel it. The pickup selector switch doesn't go from top to bottom, it goes from the top right corner to the top left corner. So that doesn't seem very trustworthy. It's really difficult. I mean, listen, if you are in the market for a low budget guitar, or if you are a beginner, I would definitely recommend checking out this guitar, but then also checking out the Epiphone Les Paul Studio, because I really feel that you get more guitar for your money on the Epiphone. Something about this guitar just screams, you know what it is? I think that this guitar was designed by LTD as a gateway, you know, like a gateway drug to the more expensive LTDs. I think that when you're a beginner and you start to play guitar, you quickly outgrow this guitar. And I don't think that's the case on the Epiphone. I mean, I have the Epiphone since 2000, and I didn't outgrow it, right? Because I think Epiphones don't try to be like the low budget Gibsons, they're Epiphones. But this, I feel, was designed to be like a gateway to the more expensive guitars, and there are good things about this guitar as well. So I like the pickups, especially on the clean channel. I think they sound really nice, and I think it's really nice that they gave you a coil split option. I think that the pickups start to become really mushy when you play distorted, so that I don't like. But yeah, I'm sorry to all the EC-256 fans, but that's my opinion. And I stand by it, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's go to the next one. Okay, so my opinion on the Solar GC 2.6C is a great one. I think this is a great instrument that you will not outgrow very fast. I think it's First of all, it's beautifully designed. It feels hefty. It feels like a real, like a real instrument. And everything is so solid and sturdy. There's nothing wobbly here. Everything is like so great, The only thing that is a little bit of a bummer on my exemplar, I have 2 spots. I don't know if you can see them in this light. I have 2 spots in the finish. One is here and one is here that look unevenly lacquered, I guess you could say. Does it make sense? Can you see it actually? No, but they are like, it looks almost as if someone in the factory, when spraying this thing, I don't know, maybe touched it lightly, or I don't know what happened. It's not scratches, it's not in the lacquer, but there's something going on here, right? Yeah. But other than that, if you are in the market for a metal guitar, because, let's be honest, this thing screams metal, right? And if you're in the market for a metal guitar, and if you are on a budget, when you can, call $700 budget, definitely try it out. I'm not so sure about the Duncan solar pickups. I guess they sound okay, but I guess we also heard better pickups in the Shootout, the Black Winter especially. Yeah, great instrument, and I really like it. It's not for me, but still, for metal players on a budget, it could be perfect. Okay, so the ESP LTD EC-401. I realize I'm starting to sound like a broken record here, but it's, again, a beautiful instrument, great craftsmanship, good quality of build. There are no scratches in the finish. Everything is solid, nothing is wobbly. The hardware feels great. Even the non-locking tuners feel great. The neck, and I know this is ridiculous because it should be the same neck as on the EC-256, but it just feels more expensive and it just feels like more quality, even though it's lacquered. But it's still, I played this guitar for like 2 or 3 weeks now, and the neck is really so much fun to play. Great craftsmanship, the binding is perfect. My main complaints are twofold. For one, the finish. If you are like me and you have a little bit of OCD when it comes to dust, you will spend a lot of your time doing this. Right? Because you can see everything on this glossy finish. Every fingerprint is there. You can see everything, and that's a little bit annoying. I didn't realize that it would be that bad because my first Epiphone is also glossy black, but it's not so bad there. Or maybe I don't care, I don't know. And my second problem with this guitar is the pickups. So I know I'm controversial again, but I just don't like them, right? I know there are 1,000 players that are better than me, who have a bigger net worth than me and are better players, and yeah, I know all that, and still I don't like them, right? And it's not necessarily about the EMGs, because truth be told, I'm doing an EMG pickup shootout right now, and I actually tested a couple already, and there are EMG active pickups that I really like and that sound organic and passive and have warmth in them, but these two do not. They sound very precise but cold, and they sound very defined, but yeah, just they sound brain dead almost. You know what I mean? They sound almost clinical, right? And that's not what I like in a guitar. I like twang, I like the breathing, I like to feel that the instrument is a nice piece of wood with great pickups, right? And you don't really get that on this guitar, especially with these pickups. So I can only repeat what I said about the Solar guitar. Great guitar, but it's not for me. Speaking of guitars that are for me, this is definitely one of them. The ESP LTD EC-1000. I fell in love with this guitar. I totally have. First of all, the quality of build is unbelievable. I have looked at this almost on a microscopic level. There are no flaws, no errors. Everything is perfect. The binding is perfect. The locking tuners work great. Nothing is wobbly. Everything is solid. the guitar has added a couple of pounds, I guess, on the EC-401, so it feels like you get more guitar for your money. And to be completely honest and frank, this guitar has a better quality of build than my Gibson, and that was twice or even 3 times as expensive as this guitar. I know it's crazy, but I have wobbly pots, 2 wobbly pots on my Gibson, and the binding isn't as nice as on this here. So we've reached like the top level of guitar build. If there is one thing that I would change if I could, or I will, I guess, because I'm keeping this guitar, is the bridge pickup. Not that I don't like it. First of all, I have a JB on another guitar in the bridge. I know it's a great sounding pickup and it sounds great on this guitar. And I'm not a huge fan of the 59 in the neck. So I'm going to check out maybe a Pearly Gates or a, what's the name? Yeah, a jazz pickup, I guess, maybe, because I really like that sound on my Epiphone. And I know you're saying like, why keep a guitar if it's not perfect? Well, for that money, I think this is like perfect. And I mean, I change pickups on my guitars all the time because I'm always guessing for something else. By the way, the Piezo system I also really like. I like that you can mix it in as much as you want to give the guitar the signal a little bit more attack, but it also sounds really cool on its own. I didn't give you any samples of the Piezo sounds because I didn't think it was the place in this video, but I made another video focusing on all the sounds this guitar has to offer. So if you are interested in the Piezo sound especially, you can check that out there. Yeah, but other than that, I'm totally going to keep this baby. It's a 10 out of 10 from me. Right, so the Killertone. I mean, wow, this guitar is unbelievable. I mean, it's really perfection. The quality of build is awesome. There's not one scratch, one error, anything. Nothing is wobbly, you know. Everything screams quality. The dots, the cymbal, you know, everything is so great. The string through body gives you so much sustain when you hit a chord. You can feel the guitar vibrating. It's just so cool, you know. I'm a huge fan of the Seymour Duncan Black Winter in the bridge position. I think it sounds really powerful. I'm not so much a fan of the Black Winter in the neck, especially when you play clean. I think we have better options for that. But I mean, other than that, I love that they thought about like a satin finish on the back. And this guitar is the perfect metal guitar. Obviously, it's not for me. I mean, for the stuff that I do, this would be a little bit overkill. But if you are a serious metal player, definitely try it out. Give it a chance, even though it's more expensive than the GC 2.6C. But I think it's definitely worth it. Locking tuners work great. I mean, yeah, this guitar is perfect. What should I say? Check it out. And we have arrived at the last guitar, the Gibson Les Paul Standard. Yeah, what can I say? I mean, I'm not regretting buying this guitar one bit. It gives me everything that I could wish for. It's just so much guitar. I mean, guys, is it overpriced? Yes, it is. Yes. I mean, no questions about that. It's totally overpriced. But I guess this will be something that will accompany me for the rest of my life. I will have this guitar, I will never sell it. And even the smell, I mean, seriously, even the smell of this guitar is amazing. So the playability is great. I actually like that it's a little bit wider than on these dedicated metal guitars. You have like a big chunk of wood, but it's not too thick, you know. It's just, yeah, it's perfect. And I'm totally into this guitar. Realizing it's overpriced, but still don't regret buying it. Love the sounds, love that you have so many sound options and that they all sound equally good, you know. Really great guitar, really like it. Yeah, so these were my opinions, guys, basically, which ends this video. I hope you liked it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Definitely let me know in the comment section which guitar did you like, which surprised you, What didn't you expect? Let me know in the comment section. That's what it is for. Have a good one. See you next time. Bye.